Hey guys, Kelly Leger here and
Amber Buto.
we are here at Set Life at For the One Studios in Studio One, and we have a guest with us today, Cris Rodriguez. We're so glad to have you with us today, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You bet,
Yeah.
man. We're gonna have welcome. Yeah,
Welcome.
Thank you.
This is Set Life, and we're just gonna have some fun talking shop and hearing what's going on in your world. We've been talking a little bit about film projects and commercial production and all that fun stuff. And I figured to kind of get started here, just kind of let the people know who Cris is, kind of what your world involves, like what's the spectrum and everything.
So it's pretty big. I'm a director and a producer, but I also DP a lot of projects. My projects range from like national commercials to network docuseries. So that's a lot of my bread and butter is a lot of docuseries, and I jump around from a lot of different projects. So I'm independent. So it's just word of mouth really, and people just pick me up. And I live half of the time I live in Monterrey, Mexico, and I work down there as well. So I do commercials down there, and I do just different projects down there, and started to develop that more. So my producer hat is coming on more than it used to. Yeah, so I kind of like it. I'm getting ready for that change. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to miss being behind the camera?
As a DP? Maybe not. No.
No?
I love it. I think I've done, I don't think I've done my share of it. I was still going to jump behind it when I need to, but
Yeah.
I think there's younger backs out there
Yeah.
that could do it,
Yeah.
and I could just guide them,
Yeah.
and still get what I need, and just, I think it's the natural progression for me to move to that,
Yeah.
directing
Cool.
and producing
Mhm.
solely.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Has that always been the plan? Like you always wanted to go there, or did you know? Or
yeah, I mean, ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be in the industry, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then in high school, I did some short films, and I had a teacher who mentored me and kind of just guided me. And I won a couple contests, so I was like, hey, maybe this is a path I should take. So
cool.
I studied communications, and I kind of jumped around. I did the radio world, and then I did news world, really young, 18, and then I was like, nah, I don't like that. No, I needed to do
Yeah.
stories. I needed to tell
Yes.
stories. So after that, I just I met Orlando, who was my business partner at the time, and we started a production company in 2011, and we just started growing that, and just growing our passion and our experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Orlando.
Yeah,
who's been
Orlando.
on the
We
show
love
before.
Orlando. Yes.
So that's basically about me. I mean, we just I've just been hammering away at it. It's like
Cool.
the industry is a tough one, but I think if you just keep hammering,
Yeah.
you'll keep making way, headway in it.
What kind of shows have you been doing for like Nat Geo and some of those kind of deals?
So it really, I've shot things for A&E, I've shot things for Nat Geo, for Discovery. It ranges from dating shows to murder mystery shows, things for Vice.
Cool.
The one I do, that DP for, it was on National Geographic, but I don't know where it's going now.
Yeah.
We're in our 5th season. It's like a show with CBP down on the border, catching drugs and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and it's been cool. I mean, I do it
I
every.
watch all those shows.
I do it 10 weeks out of the year. I'm down in Laredo in the Valley area,
Yeah.
so
Cool.
those are exciting. It's I always tell people it's crazy because I'll end up on a death row show, right? Something super serious, and then next I'm on Love Is Blind, dating show, and it's complete different worlds. It's actually nice though to get away from it,
Totally.
Yeah.
And I've worked on some cooking shows with Bobby Flay and things like that,
Cool.
so that's been fun. And
I watch those too.
yeah,
I watch all your shows.
Right? Have you seen Barbecue Brawl?
I
It was-
have.
It was a big competition show. We filmed that in
yeah.
Austin, and that was
Cool.
a big production, massive,
Nice.
70, 80 people.
I'll bet.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Fun. I like Bobby Flay.
Yeah.
I didn't like Bobby Flay.
he was nice. Bobby Flay is nice.
He seems like he'd be a
Yeah,
cool guy.
yeah.
Wow. Wonder what else you shoot. I watch.
I don't know. Name it. I shoot the gamut. House Hunters. I worked on that
Yeah.
before.
Watch House Hunters.
Yeah.
Man.
Not international though. I wish I shot
Oh yeah,
international.
I watched that too.
What about there in Galveston? There's a show.
The
that's-
restoration.
Yeah.
My friend's producing it. I haven't been on that yet.
Yeah. Middle
Restoring Galveston.
Yep.
Nope. Have not worked on that. She
I
called
watched
me,
that too.
but I was
Yeah.
busy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So
And okay, so commercials. My world, I've kind of come from the advertising agency commercial world. What kind of commercials? Is there like a genre or all over the place?
Just all over the place. I've done back in the day when Scion was a thing. I shot some things for Scion. I did some work for Dodge, like they had like specific lines of trucks that they had. Worked on some Ford commercials. We did a big one. It never got released. Like some of these things is really weird. Like they'll pay for it, and then like they just can it.
Isn't that amazing? That was one
Yeah.
of the things that blew my mind in this industry, honestly. When another episode we were on, we were talking with an actor who's played in like a ton of things, but then he was kind of like, well, you don't see it all on IMDb because some of it never even got released.
Right.
And they've spent all this money and done all these things, and they can't. We were talking about how hard it is for a project to go from an idea all the way to completion of being distributed,
Right.
and how many things can go wrong in between there to not make it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, we've shot. I mean, like not shot. Sorry. So I have a production company in Austin with a business partner, and we've like spec'd out so many commercials for agencies, and just to get one, you do 100. You know, as far as like bidding it out, breaking it apart, and showing them what it would cost, and then like,
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Or
Thanks for
let's
spending.
go with them over there.
Yeah, thanks for
That's
spending
true.
2 weeks on this. You know,
That's true.
And
So-
how much really goes into that.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was shooting a lot of reality or unscripted television. You know, it was we're pitching so many sizzle reels. Like at some point, you don't even. I used to put so much time and effort into making sure the production value was so like awesome.
Right.
And then it gets to a point where just like you have to pitch so many, you don't have time. It's like, why am I going to put all this time? I just need to sell the idea, sell the concept, show proof of concept. Here's my talent. Here's my arc. Here's the da 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 da, and get it out there. You know,
Right.
Because the chances are, you know, it's like, and it's not even that it doesn't necessarily hit all the beats. It might not be the right thing for that network or the right timing for what's being sold right now. You know,
Right.
you should keep all those things, and then in a few years pitch them again and see what what it looks like. So it's always kind of ever changing, fun industry.
Yeah. I mean, you never know what you're going to be doing tomorrow.
true.
You
Yeah.
know? It's like my schedule is constantly changing. Some people can't take that. Some people like consistency and schedules, and for me, it's like, okay, where do I need to be tomorrow? Alaska, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
My bag's already packed, like half the time.
Right.
So
I hear that.
yeah.
What is your favorite thing that you shoot? What's the
Yeah,
thing to be a part of?
I was thinking the same
Are you?
thing. Yeah.
I like commercial work and scripted narrative work because there is some structure to it. It's not as like a lot of the docuseries stuff and or a lot of the unscripted TV. It's just loose. It's very loose, and it's like just go find some good shots and like do your job. Find me some B-roll, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go do it.
Right.
But it's not like I wish like. As in the scripted narrative world, it's like we need these specific shots, and we're gonna make these look really pretty.
Yeah.
And focus on that, and that's kind of where my passion is. So like, okay, we're gonna spend
you've hit
time.
the mark.
Right.
Like in the others, you don't know what the mark is. It's just kind of like up to your discretion on whether you're going to hit that mark or not. Yeah, and I could see how what I'm thinking in my mind versus what I'm telling you to go capture with the camera could be completely different in the perspective and what you see and all of that. So
it's a lot of like supporting footage, right? To basically what you've shot in the main deal. It's like, let's support everything. Here's what we're shooting. Here's what it looks like. Get us B-roll. Get us everything that supports.
Right.
Get us establishing. Get us this. Get us,
And you can tell a story. I mean, there's still like storytelling in that.
Sure.
yeah.
But it's not as like clean and crisp.
I get it.
as a commercial or a TV show would be.
Yeah, I get it.
Or intentional, I should say.
Yeah.
It is in a way where it's like, okay, I'm getting what they're talking about, but it's just like shooting it, you know, and you make it look nice and like, okay, but when you're shooting with actors and things, it's like it's just another world.
Yeah, I agree. And unscripted, it's kind of like you don't really know what it's unscripted. Like you don't know what you're about to capture.
Right.
Because it's you're living it out as it's going, kind of,
Depends on which show it is.
Yeah.
Depends on it, but it's a lot of just catch it if you can.
Yes.
At moments.
Right. It's produced, but just unscripted. It's very, very produced, but just not. Yeah, you're right. But it's a general, or they might know. Here's where here's where we're going to start. Here's where we want to end.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks.
Pretty much, if
you
you're
know.
talking about a dating show, you're like, okay, they're going to go on a date. Here's where they're going to sit.
Correct.
Here's where they're going to be. Here's, what we've set them up to do. But you don't know if they're going to get mad in the middle of that date, and then one storms out, and the other one's left there, and then you're like, follow them. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing. I mean, there's some structure, but like you're saying, there's a lot of left that's ambiguity. Like, you're just not sure.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Versus scripted.
Yeah.
Everything has a plan.
Correct.
On a,
or at least you would hope so.
Yeah, well,
if we go out,
depending on what budget level you're at,
Right.
everything has a plan.
Right.
like if we go out on a commercial shoot, a bigger, advertising agency commercial shoot, if we get 10 to 15 of our scripted shots that day, that was a good day. 10 to 15, not like, when you're shooting B-roll and you're like, yeah, I knocked out 102.
Right.
200
gigs of memory.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Exactly.
Did you just keep the camera rolling?
Yeah, you got to do it. That's what you got to do. As opposed to the setup, this is exactly what it looks like. And you set that thing up for half an hour and you shoot it. And you set that up for another half, and you shoot it or whatever. The case may be. So I'm with you though. I enjoy more the scripted things I can sink my teeth into and take my time on. And so I'm really proud of and all that stuff.
With you telling part of your story a while ago, I just think it's so great that you had a teacher that, poured into you to some degree, that mentored you. You were talking about in your high school days that kind of, man, I just think that's so great that not everybody has that same experience. I think there's a lot of kids and a lot of people that we've met that have come through that didn't get that versus the ones who did get somebody that mentored them or poured into them.
Sure.
Right.
Were they was it a regular teacher? Was it a film school teacher?
So he taught movie making class, right?
You had that in high school?
It was it was loose. Like the program had just started and he was like starting it up. So, and a lot of students weren't into it. They didn't really care, especially the school I was at. So they didn't really take advantage of it. They had just gone from the colorful Macs, remember the ones with the clear colored cases, to like the new squared, big, heavy things.
Oh, yeah.
And all the computers got changed out, and he is Mr. Lorenzana. Shout out to Mr. Lorenzana. He's still around. He still follows me.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping out. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like multiple people appreciate you for that.
And he would, he gave me the key to the class. He would let me take the cameras whenever I wanted. I would edit like till midnight.
Oh, wow.
But the janitors would be there cleaning, and like I'd be waving to them bye. My mom would come pick me up, at midnight.
Cool.
Oh,
I was the only one in the school.
Props to mom too. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
God.
Yeah. So it was very. I would say it did play a big role because I had access to these things all the time, whenever I wanted. No like having to check in with anybody.
Yeah.
So
Super cool.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I've gotten a little bit of inside information that there might be a feature film might be released or something. We've talked about commercials, talked about TV, but feature film now.
Yeah. There's
What's going on with that?
There's a feature film that I got to direct and co-wrote with Orlando and Christian, and Christian did the screenplay after that, and then Orlando DP'd it, and it's coming out in a month, and we're pretty excited. Yeah.
I'm
Full
super
feature.
excited for it.
Yeah. Anytime somebody creates a feature, it's a lot of work.
Dude,
It is a lot
Yeah.
of work. Yeah. I mean, I don't think if you're not in this industry and you haven't made it there, heard somebody say the other day, well, I might get this feature, but I don't know, that's like a whole year's worth of work, like just for that feature, because it's a really large feature. I mean, it's like all you can focus on when you are going to work on a feature at a larger budget,
No doubt.
And before I got into this industry, I didn't know that there was, I'm like, why would it take that many people to make that? Oh no, it takes a lot. It takes a village. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah, congratulations
Thank you.
to
Totally.
not only being on the writing side of it, taking the idea, writing it, developing it, producing it, pre-production, shooting it, post-production, getting it to distribution, to actually distribute it out. You've done it. Yeah.
Right.
You've done it.
Right.
And congratulations. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Shot it here and in Mexico.
Yeah, we shot in Texas and in Mexico. So
super cool.
yeah, the crews down there are amazing as well.
Wow.
Like they are workhorses. Like
Aw.
we didn't work them like that, but
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
guys are like, I don't care. We just got off a shoot where we were like 20 hours a day, and then we'd go sleep 3 hours and come back. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that to you.
Wow.
I promise you.
Aw.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. And now that I'm over there, I mean, I'm just continuing with those guys and like building that up with them over
That's
there.
great.
So
I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm
What
glad you do that.
what would you say that is there? I don't know. Is there a big difference between film in Mexico and film here? And if so, what would some of those differences be?
I think that if we're talking about idea wise or like story wise, I think there's a big difference. I think their perspective is really unique and interesting because they're still, their lives, like compared to a U.S. citizen or an American,
Sure.
we're in a first world country and a third world country, are drastically different.
Yeah.
So the way they see things or imagine things just opens them up to tell these beautiful stories with very little,
Yes.
And I think we're at a point that we have an excess of stuff. And I think it hinders our imagination and our
Yes.
ability to tell unique stories. Not saying that we don't,
Right.
we do,
Right.
Right.
but I feel like it does hinder us a little
Right.
bit because I see what they come up with or what they think of or what they get done with
Yep.
nothing. And I'm like, wow, like,
The ingenuity, the
Right.
things you
Yeah.
have to do,
Right,
The
to make it happen.
necessity, the mother of invention, as they say,
Right.
necessity. How
Right.
do I figure it out? I love that. You're right.
And then when they get like the tools, the right tools and the right people, oh man, they just like blow it out of the water.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
that's why recently, like all the Oscars have been going to like Mexican directors and
True.
cinematographer,
True.
so
Yeah, you're right.
they just a different perspective on life, I think
Not the
helps.
same. That's always been done because, that's funny that you mentioned that. I just recently had over a couple of visitors from Korea, Germany, Africa, and staying with me. And each one of them, I got to do the whole rundown of where we are in the U.S. and what's happening and this. And you forget, like, they can't see the movies that we can see. They don't see the TV shows that we see. They don't have access to that because it's not distributed globally.
Right.
It's just domestic. And we in America just assume that the rest of the world is seeing what we're seeing, but they're not.
Right.
So we were talking about that with me being in this industry. And I'm like, have you seen this? And they're like, no, we hope that it comes over there. And it's like,
right.
oh my gosh. And they're like, well, we can try to get it by this site and and how they have to watch it and then how they have to dub
They
it.
really got to search it out
Right.
Oh, yeah.
so easily at your fingertips.
For us.
Yeah.
So it makes it, as creators, though, because we have that in our hands, one, it does make us better, and two, it hinders us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
I get it.
They don't see what we're doing already here, so they don't use that as a bar.
Right.
They're free to create still.
Totally.
Right.
Here, we're like, oh, mercy, I can't get to that, or better yet, I'm going to try to mirror that
Right.
because that's what's working.
It's true.
Right.
You're right.
And they don't have that same thing there. And that was a recent conversation that I was just having this last week. With,
Yeah, just to see, even just around the world, like you're saying, the perspectives are way different.
way different, yeah.
And their stories are totally different, And they're,
Mhm.
I don't know if they're, even if their movies or shows would work here,
Mhm.
not all of them. Some do. Some cross over really well. But I feel like in Europe, they have a very different style. I got to see that recently. And it's just, I don't know if it's like shows I would watch,
Yeah.
but they would,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
I mean, there's some like, so we travel a lot.
Mhm.
And man, there's some great film areas of the world. Like we're in India quite a bit. And I literally wake up a few months ago in India to action. And I'm like, what? Am I dreaming? I'm like, I'm on set too much, man. I'm like in India dreaming about action. And I go out to my window and I look down at the property next to the hotel and they're filming a Bollywood movie next door.
wow.
And they have like 60 people on set. Like it's this massive caravan and they're having a gunfight right outside my window. And I'm like, this thing following me everywhere I go. It won't leave me alone. And but there's such cool film like India. India's got a super Bollywood is the second largest, film world outside of Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah.
Great talent, great cinematographers, great. I mean, there's some great talent. Mexico, all the stuff that's coming out of Mexico right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
and I'm sure Monterrey as well, but Mexico City and all like the stuff that Del Toro's been building down there and his crew and his team.
Right.
I'm way impressed by what's happening, in other places. I love that that's happening.
Yeah, we have Del Toro, Iñárritu, Cuarón, like all those guys that they've crossed over, but they're still going back and making movies down there.
I love it. Yeah. There's that, because that talent is everywhere. A lot of times people just need a shot, and somebody who's, there to believe in and pull them in. We're actually looking forward to shooting more stuff. Me, Hosanna, and I are going to go back to India in a few weeks in May, and we're going to do some more shooting.
That's
right
exciting.
there. We love it. We love shooting around the world. We'll be in Japan and India and Thailand and some other Middle Eastern country that ends with a Stan. And just leave it there.
Right.
But we love it, man. I love that. I love all that's going on. I want to know just a little bit more. I remember, Orlando telling us about the film as a cinematographer and so forth. But tell me about, what got you into, why this story? Why is writer, director, tell me about it. It's called Journey.
Journey. The movie's called Journey. Yeah. Well, this story was just, somebody had approached us and said, like, hey, could y'all do something with a theme, right? Yeah. And we're like, that theme's been done too much. Like, let's put a twist on it. And that's when we got to writing and really just outlining the story. Because Christian wrote the script and he did an amazing job at it. And, but it was something that we had seen so much in our lives that we hadn't seen on screen yet. These stories of the people. So Journey's about a kid who gets brought over from Mexico when he's little, and he grows up in Texas. And he, gets his girlfriend pregnant. He has to find a job illegally, and then there's an ICE raid, which is, police come and raid for immigrants, an immigration raid, and he gets deported back to Mexico, but he's never been there. I mean, he was just born there, so he's a fish out of water, and he has to make his way back through the eyes of an immigrant, but he's American, quote unquote American.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was just stories that we had heard from our family and friends, like people trying to make it from El Salvador or different countries through Mexico and the things they would go through. So we were like, well, let's put our character, let's make him relive some of those things, and see how an American would act. Yeah. And I think a lot of Americans wouldn't cut it. With some of the stuff that they had to go through.
I mean, if you live in Texas, honestly, the chances are somebody you grew up with or a friend of yours is in the same situation.
Right.
They might not have been. I have plenty of friends like that. Now, they never got stuck in the middle. I mean, they come over, regardless of what side of any issues or any of that stuff. Yeah. You come on when you're young, when you're family, you don't know it. You're just coming. You don't. You're following your parents. You're following whoever, right? So you're here and you're American. You grew up same as anybody else. But now there's a raid, and you go back to a place you have no idea.
Exactly.
And they shoot you back, and they're like, that's a great concept.
Right.
I mean, that's not a concept. It's a real life, but that's a great story.
Right.
To be told.
Yeah. So then we created that story, and that's really what drove us to create it. And then tackling it was just like, let's do right by this, let's get the right people, let's get the right actors that would portray it right. And, let's not because a lot of the movies that we were watching growing up, or my dad would watch, or his, like Orlando's dad, are like these spaghetti Western, almost Mexican movies that were coming out in the 80s and 90s. And we're like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do something super commercial that catches people's eyes, that'll sell, a clean and cut story, to catch that attention, of an American viewer. Really, our first target audience was first generation Mexican Americans that speak English and Spanish, but really it was for everyone. We wanted to make it a universal story because the themes are universal. Yeah, totally. To people from other countries that are trying to get here. So, there was another story that I feel that hasn't been told yet that would be great, and I don't care, but I'm not going to do it. So. Sure. It's the angle of.
Let me get my pen.
Yeah. And this would be help on the patriotic side, like kids that they'll let undocumented people join the army, and then they'll get deported after they serve their time.
Dang. No way.
Like say they're out and about, but they don't have papers, but they served in the army. They went 4 years, served a tour, come back and get deported.
Sounds a little crazy, huh?
That does. I don't see how you could go in serve.
But there's a story, man.
Yeah, there is a story.
Yeah. And you look it up, there's like a few cases of it, and it made news, it made headlines, and it's sad because it's like, come on, Like,
So
I
sad.
grew up in this country. I served this country, and now it's like
A little hypocrisy there for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't,
it's just logistical paperwork, right? That's not
Right.
matching.
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Right. So now you got that patriotic
Don't
angle.
steal it.
No, you can take it.
No, it's already copyrighted. Nobody can take it. It's done.
Kelly just got
I
that,
got
so
it. It's mine.
Right.
sorry, it's off the market.
I want some points on the back end. Okay. So,
Wait,
Dang it,
he
it's all
just
on
said he was
camera.
done. Do you all see how
Right.
fast the movie business
Oh,
works?
that's how
That's
fast the movie
exactly
right.
how this works.
right.
Right.
I can't let those slide by.
Oh, I just gave it away and took it back in 60
Just like that.
seconds. Oh, I was rich and poor in 60 seconds. How did that happen? Oh,
You got to be quick.
That's right. That's right. That was classic right
Wow.
there. That is so.
that's a very quick
For people that don't know what points are, it's just percentages in the film. So
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
it's the back end of the film.
I
So.
was doing so well for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah, there's so many, you probably hear there's so many great stories, but not every story makes a great movie,
right.
and how you develop all of the characters in it, then you, like you're saying, universal concepts, things that transcend across everything. As we're talking global, I think on distribution side as a producer, you think when you're looking at a script, most people look at it like, oh, this is a great story. And I'm like, well, this is only funny to Americans.
Right.
This isn't funny to any other culture.
Right.
This drama is only drama here.
Right.
Like, this is gloating in another country. You know
Right,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Right.
it's the way that you have to look at
It's true.
the global market versus the domestic market. And, like, you're working in two different markets.
Right. And
you know?
navigating that,
Yes.
between the two.
Yes, and then saying, okay, how do I reach kind of both those markets with this film? That takes a special person to be able to know both those markets so well to do that. It's the same with, like they say, your safe bet is action, because no matter what language you're speaking, you get two people fighting and you get a car chase. Like,
Right.
you don't need that to be translated. Now, a dramatic scene, you don't speak the language, you really don't know what's going on. And I mean, you can take an idea of what's going on, but you're not getting all the subtext that's happening
Sure.
by the tones, inflections,
Right.
and all those things there, because it's so different.
Like romantic comedies. That's
Yeah.
not going to change. It's not funny in other cultures.
Nope.
Or, there's plenty
Could
of
be
cultures
offensive.
like that's not even funny. Why are they talking like? Why are they
Yeah.
doing? The comedy does not translate.
Yeah.
Right.
Somewhere else. That is a lot. That's a lot to be said
Yeah.
for all that.
Right. And you have to keep that in mind as a writer, like you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to think bigger or people won't distribute it.
Correct.
Got to know who you're writing.
Because
to.
why would you leave money on the table with your films that you could be picking up and distributing?
Right.
And that's the way they looked at it. I was just in conversations the other day with Universal and Paramount, and the Paramount Plus offices are over in London, so everything they're looking at, they look at through the lens already from foreign.
Right.
So if you're passing something through that's about American star, that better be one heck of a major American star that played a global sport or something, or
Right.
a singer that was a global singer that happened to be from America. But otherwise, your stories have to be bigger global concepts.
Right. For that reach.
And it's so funny, like what every culture likes. Like people in America, people are enamored by the English accent. But you go to an Australia and they love the American accent. Actually, it's funny, like what becomes popular,
Yeah.
in different
In the markets.
in the markets.
Yep.
Knowing that's, I guess it's kind of important.
And the talent that's like uber pop, like you could have a B-list actor here. It's like uber popular in Mexico or uber popular
Right.
in Europe.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But here they're kind of like, meh,
Right.
subpar,
Right.
But take them over there and they're like,
Yeah.
there, and everybody loves them,
Yep. Yep. You're
And
right.
that's just learning the differences. That's a part of this business,
Right.
because I know the lead in y'all's film, I think Orlando was saying,
Raphael.
yes,
Yeah.
does a lot of work in Mexico, correct?
Yeah. Right now he's on Acapulco, which is a comedy on Apple TV, and they're filming their third season right now, and his character is a pretty big character in the show, and he's doing really well, well. He started off in Borgias, which is an HBO show, but he was doing HBO in Spain, and then he did Narcos, and then he did a bunch of other. He has a lot of accolades, and he's just getting bigger.
Man.
Yeah, I think
Good
he was in
job.
Homeland like a couple episodes recently, And so props to Raphael. He's doing great. He's doing amazing. So we're super fortunate to have him.
And some of your other cast too, right?
Right. Yeah. Megan Martin. She was a big Disney star, and she's still a star. She's doing theater in London now, and that's kind of her passion right now. And but her, if you look at her list, she has countless shows and movies, and she was the lead in Mean Girls 2. If you don't know, there's a Mean Girls 2. There's a Mean Girls 2. She's the lead in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
And then we had the 2 Mexican actors who, the lady who played his mom, her name's Arcelia Ramirez. Last year at Cannes, she received like a big standing ovation for her film called La Civil.
Oh.
Yeah, it did really well. And
I remember Orlando talking about her. Yeah.
And then the antagonist, Gustavo Sanchez Parra, he's been in so many things. And he was in Iñárritu's first film, Amores Perros, and he's just done like Get the Gringo with Mel Gibson and a bunch of roles like cross right in Mexico and in the United States. And he's in shows on HBO Latino and things like that. So
Great,
he's all over the place. Like he's probably done another 20 projects since Shirley, so it was an honor to be able to work with actors of that caliber. And you just never know. I mean, the process was so interesting for Journey for casting. I won't get into it, but I think that we were fortunate that
you sounds like it, man.
That's
and
that they had chemistry. They met. I'll tell you this part. They met like a day before filming, all of them.
Wow.
And they were just rock stars. Like, this is our job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm this character now.
Yep.
So, because I was like, hey, we're gonna go out, hang out and eat some dinner, and they're like, no, like I'm gonna stay in and study. I'm like,
yeah,
my dude.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. Yeah. I'm gonna stay in too. Yeah, I'm gonna stay in too. We have 6 a.m. call time. I'll be there. No, but they killed it. They really did. And the actress that played his mom, she didn't speak any English. Somebody had phonetically broken the script down for her.
Oh, wow.
And when she was reading the lines, it was like, it sounds like you know what you're saying.
Awesome.
That's unbelievable.
They broke it down phonetically for her, so she just learned it phonetically.
Yeah.
She could say it right.
Right.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
That's talent.
There was...
That's the difference between, like, thinking you're an actor or an actress to mastering the craft.
Dude,
right. Like the right intonations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We would just... I would explain to her the scene, and then she was like, okay, let's do it.
It's like, once you've shot with a ton of different kind of talent, you so appreciate when a professional shows up on that set.
Correct. You don't want to go back.
No, you
Well,
don't.
of course not.
Right. You don't want to go back.
Right.
You don't want to go back.
Right.
You want that caliber every time. Of course, you not always don't have the budget or the time or the connections to get that caliber every time, but you work with what you got. But I think, we were super fortunate.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Well, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to see it. I can't wait. It comes out when?
April 30th is the pre-orders, and we're waiting to hear when it launches on Tubi. So it's free on Tubi.
Yeah, sure.
Next week, we're having a pre-screening in Houston. So 2 showings.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, 14 pews. So
cool.
Eventbrite.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's before next week. So.
Okay.
All right.
And if it's after, then Tubi, right?
Then Tubi. Yeah, then Tubi.
Right?
Yeah, Journey. Yeah.
Tubi indefinitely or till whenever.
Right, till whenever.
You can look for it there. That's awesome.
And we'll try to pop up some of the trailer or some B-roll over this so people can kind of see some of the work that we were talking about. And if people want to go follow it or look into it, where would they go?
JourneyTheMovie.com.
JourneyTheMovie.com.
Yeah, and then on Facebook it's the same, Journey the Movie.
All right.
Yeah, and Instagram, Journey the Movie.
And what about you, Chris? How do they follow you or your company? Or?
I have Ritual Cinema Studios out of Austin.
Okay.
That's my production company with a business partner right now for my stateside stuff. But my personal stuff is just my name. It's just Christopher RDZ. Like nothing special.
All right.
I don't post very much. I kind of stalk more than I post. I'm just like, oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah. And then when I post, it has to be like something special.
Something amazing.
Right. So like the movie, this is like, I hadn't posted since 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And now it's like, oh yeah, it's time now.
Yeah.
This is a big momentous thing. Like I'm posting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we are just thrilled to pieces
yes.
that this is coming out. We're so happy for you.
Thank you.
We're so happy to support you in any way we can with this. Y'all better go check out the film. whether you pre-order it or go watch it on Tubi, I know that it's going to be fantastic. It's super exciting. And I know we can't wait to watch it. So
Sure.
Thanks for sharing with us.
Oh, thank you. I mean, this is a lot of support, as you know, and this is
Good.
You know, we
Yeah.
really appreciative of this type of, you know, just being invited and, you know,
Yeah.
to different shows and things like that.
Totally.
And we appreciate the support. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Well, we're going to wrap it up here for now.
Okay.
Thanks for being with us,
No,
man.
definitely. Hopefully I can come back with a different project.
Hey,
Yeah,
come
that's
on,
good.
come on.
Yeah, there's some things in the works, so
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so
Oh, yeah. Well, when you get them, you definitely have to
yeah.
come
Yes.
back on the show. But
Well, there's your hook, people.
Right.
That's
He's
right.
coming back with some more. So
Right.
go watch what he's got, and then let's hear what he's got coming up.
Or y'all can do a remote in Monterey.
all right.
Never
all
know.
right.
Could be on set.
Or we
Alright.
could take the show to
Yes.
Monterey.
Monterey.
Because I like the food there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll take you to the best spots.
Oh.
Okay, we're taking the show.
All right, we're going
Right.
there, folks.
Well-
Immediately.
Y'all ready? We're going to be going.
Well, listen, we got to get out of here for today, though. So we've loved having Cris on the show. I am Kelly Leger.
And I am Amber Buto.
This is Set Life, and we'll see you next time.